Hi guys, I'm Jay and this is Vroom Room. Welcome back to the channel. We have a brand new project which I'm really excited about. It's an Aprilia Caponord, one of those 1000, and it's in need of a bit of love. It's 2001. Let's have a look around it. So here we are. I've had a quick look over it. Some of the panels weren't on properly. The battery seems like, even though it's brand new, it's the wrong one for the bike because the seat doesn't sit in properly, so that's just been taken off of a couple of the side panels that weren't held in with anything. We've got one key with it. I'll get another one cut should all this go okay. It's a non-runner. It's been sitting in the garage for a number of years. Don't know why. The obvious things that I've seen so far, just having a quick look around, and it is the front fork seal on this side is leaking, so front seals will be required. The oil doesn't look like there's much in there, so oil and filter change. I've been told some work was done on the fuel pump, so I'll have to check that and see. The frame is really good. There's some general just muck and grime in there, which I'm going to address. Coming around, rear number plate light is broken, so we'll order one of those. The engine does need a tidy up if it runs okay. Coming back around, the panel on the other side is heavily scratched, so that will need some repair work. Looking on this side, the chain doesn't look too bad. The oil tank there, the sighter for the oil on the oil tank is this PVC pipe here, and there's nothing in that, so draw your own conclusions from that. And the cover off the bleed nipple there was off when I got the bike, so don't know what's going on there either, so we'll have to have a look at that. Coming to the front is my biggest worry. The clocks on these are known for being, well, troublesome. That's because of a wire that runs underneath the tank in between the engine. Apparently it's made of something brittle and can overheat and cause damage to the clocks, and when it does, this can be an expensive fix. I've had a look online. I think rather than replacing it, first of all, if it is the clocks, once I stripped it down and had a look, I'll try and find someone in the area who can actually do repairs, because it might be something simple, a capacitor, something like that. So we'll do that as well. There's a broken panel down here. It's a very small one, so that'll be that as well. And that's it for the initial assessment. I'm going to start stripping it down, and we'll see how it goes. But it was the pricely sum of £525. So let me know in the comments if you think I got a deal or whether I got scammed. I think it's a good deal, but we'll see. So, new day, new list of things to do. I've been looking around this now for about 10 minutes, trying to decide what I'm going to actually do first. I've ordered an oil filter and oil for it. I want to get that in before I start messing about too much with the engine, because according to the sight glass, it is low, and you don't know how long it's been in there. It's worth doing that anyway. So the clock housing I took apart. It was very easy, just a couple of small Allen keys around it, and it's quite a simple design, which is good. The clocks do worry me, and I have done a little bit of research online, and there is some fixes for those, but the first thing I've got to do is test in situ to see if there's power actually going to the clocks, or whether I'm looking at another issue. So I think today's jobs are going to include stripping it back a little bit more, trying to get rid of some of the plastics. I need to see what I'm dealing with, and I also need to get that number plate light off, so I can order a new one. I've seen one that's a universal one that's LED, that looks about the same size, but I just want to take some measurements before I do that, and then I'll carry on. I don't think the back half's going to take too much of a refurb. It looks pretty good down there. I will check the brake pads. Engine will need a bit of a touch up. I am a little bit concerned about that slightly aftermarket wire, but we'll check that out as well. So we'll pull this off. A lot of it didn't have nuts and bolts in it, so I'm gonna have to have a look. There is a collection of bolts. I doubt if it's enough, but I do have quite a big selection of them, and I'm gonna take the cowling off down the bottom as well, the protective cowling, and check out the radiator. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, if that's the clutch bleed nipple and it's undone, that does explain why it's quite a yeah, there's not a lot of pressure there. But saying that, I can't build up any pressure either, so I'll look into that as well, and then we'll see where we are. So I think I'm going to start by getting that cowling off. Cowling's off, but what I've seen straight away is just quite a bit of rust and shite on the disc fork. The other one seems okay. Ah, it doesn't. There's another rust patch there. It's higher than the travel of the forks, but it's still a little bit concerning. So we'll take that down, see how bad it is with a bit of wire. I'm not too concerned about the top parts, that's just cosmetic, but we'll clean it up anyway. Well, it took literally seconds. It was very easy. Unlike the DeVille, the bolts came out, which does make your life a lot easier. I'm already amassing a selection of panels there to be cleaned. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary that's worrying me too much at the moment. Like I mentioned in the first part, the fuel pump does concern me slightly, but they said they had it running, but you never know, do you? So we'll see. I'm going to take the number plate light out now. It's only 2 bolts from behind. It's up the top. It's a little bit fiddly, but nothing too bad. So I'll crack on with that. I'll get that off, and then I'm going to think about actually just giving it a bit of a clean as it sits before I do anything else. The tank's got to come off, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that right now. In fact, I probably will. Or do I do the clocks? Oh, decisions. I'll find out. I'll do it in a minute. Number plate light came out easy. It's just 2 8mm bolts, and I've ordered one. It's an LED replacement, and that was the pricely sum of £6.50. I measured it and checked it against the one I've took out, and it does seem to fit. So I have, I'll show you. I have that's the back. I've taken the seats off. Battery was brand new, which was really good. It just wasn't sitting in the hole properly, so there was a big bolt at the bottom, so I don't know why I didn't just take that out and sit the battery properly, but it's fine and it fits, so that's some good news. I've got a wire here. Now that doesn't look necessarily like a battery trickle device to me. Could be. I don't know all of the connectors. Anyway, that's out of the way for the minute. So now I really I think I'm going to take the tank off. I know the fuel hoses need to be replaced, and it'd be good to get a better view of those. And then I'll, as long as I don't start taking anything off electrical until I've done the checks on the clock, I should be okay. So let's try and get the tank off. It seemed like all the bolts were already out for the tank, which is good news and bad news. 2 bolts in the top as normal, and I can't see anything else that's holding it in, and I've got a lot of movement when I lift it. So I'm guessing it's just the pipes going to the tank and the return, maybe a vent, and then that will come off. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm happy about that or not. I think this bike is hiding a problem. Right, so I've lifted it up and it's wedged in okay at the moment. It looks like the only two, that's got to be to the fuel pipe and the return. And I'm gathering this wire down here is the for the fuel gauge, and I'm wondering if the fuel pump sits inside the tank with the sender. Might have to do a bit of reading on that one. Right, okay, so I'm going to pull these wires off. Okay, look for a connector. Oh, there's the connector for the sender. That's handy. Right, I should have this off in a minute. So the tank come off quite easy. This is what I'm looking at now. The air filter itself looks brand new. So I'll get the air box off so I can see the carb. At least then, if it has got a fuel pump issue, I can bypass some bits just to see if it'll run. But that's obviously after the oil and filter change, which is another job for today. Let's get I can't get the oil and filter in, but I can take the old oil and filter out. So it'd be good to check that filter and just see how it is. If it was done at the same time as this and it was a full service, then good stuff. But looking at the sight glass for the oil tank, I don't think so. But we'll see. Right, so I'm going to take the remainder of the airbox off. Only looks like a couple of Allen bolts in there and a couple of screws, Phillip heads at the front. I'm going to take a couple of pictures, take my own advice here just to see where everything's going in and out. I just want a clear view underneath just to see what I'm dealing with. But I mean, nothing looks too far out of place at the moment, apart from that wire, which is definitely a new one. And they've connected it, sorry, they've connected it to that red and white one there, which I should think is a positive that's running off of this relay. So when the ignition's turned on, that will give power, but where's it going to? Very poor connection there. Oh, and they've taken it out of there. So I obviously think that there's a problem with that wire going through. We've done a continuity test on it, but I'll do the same and just see if that's right or whether that can be rewired. But I might be getting somewhere because at least I can see the colour of the wires and I'll match it up against the wiring diagram and see where it actually goes to. 6 Allen bolts, connector at the front, connector at the back, 3 pipes this side, 1 pipe that side, and that's it. And the good thing was it doesn't look like that had actually been taken off before, so from my point of view, the only thing that I need to check is that wire, which I'm going to go and have a look at now and see if I can get a bit of information on that. And then that's about it for this bit. Been putting back the nuts, bolts and screws where I can. Which reminds me, got two to go in up here. But next I think I'm going to drain the oil and get that oil filter out. That'll tell me a lot about how the engine's been run. And then we'll start on the dash. Right, this is a dry sump system, which means the tank's on the side. The bolt to undo it is underneath there. It can be a bit of a pain if you've got the cowling on, but luckily I've got this half strip, so it's going to be okay. The oil filter goes in there, a couple of Allen bolts, and there's a magnetic nut in there which you also need to get out and clean. I'm going to drain the oil now. Hopefully there's some in it, and I'm going to get the filter out. I'll put the cover back on. Without one back in there, it's not going to be turned over until I get the oil, which is hopefully tomorrow, so that should be okay. So that one under there looks like it's hard to tell. Oh, hold on a minute, it might be an Allen bolt. I'll need to get under and have a look. Okay, it was a 10mm. I'm going to share this moment with you to see if there's any oil in there, and if there is it any good? It's looking quite black. But it does look okay. Interesting to see how much of this container it does fill up. I mean, these do take, this container's 5 litres, and we're there at the moment. To get to there, I won't be too concerned, but it's looking like it's already starting to stop. So there's the oil filter. It does look not the best, but they never do, so it's hard to tell from that. The oil that came out, I'd say 2.5 litres out of a 4 litre capacity. 2.5 litres out of a 4.5 litre capacity. Isn't ideal, but it's nothing that's overly concerning. So I've just got the magnetic plug to take out, which I am going to do in a second. Then I'm going to stick the bits back on, and I'm going to get this looking a little bit better, because then there's not too much else I can do at the moment until I start receiving some parts, apart from the clocks, which I'll get onto soon. Right, scrap the bit in the last video where I said there was only 2.5 litres of oil in it. I found the rest of it. Oh God, when you take that magnetic plug out, it just floods out. I was worried that it wasn't all going to fit into this container, and it is very near the top now. So good news is it did have oil in it. The magnetic, that's it there. See, there's a little bit of gumph on it, but nothing that's too major, so that'll go back in a sec. Well, the oil is out now, but just above the oil filter housing where the slave cylinder for the clutches, there's a lot of gunk around there, so it looks like the gasket's probably failed, and that could be a reason why I've got such a inactive clutch lever. So I think that's going to have to be rebuilt as well, but I'll have a look and see once I get the engine running. We'll test all this out anyway, but that would seem to be a good reason why it wouldn't be working. So yeah, I'm glad I saw it. So that's where we're going to leave the video for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Still a lot to do, but it seems to be going okay, and I've got some high hopes for this bike. So if you do like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, you know the drill, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.